YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about a deal that I bought a couple of years ago. We're going to break it down, how I got it, where it came from, how I negotiated it, all of that kind of stuff. But first and foremost, let's pull up the address, because anytime you want to talk about deals, you want to make sure that somebody gives you the freaking address. You know what I'm saying? You guys, we're switching it up with these two camera angles, seeing if you guys like it. Give you guys a little bit more of a feel here, almost like we're talking to each other. All right, so let's open up Chrome. Let me type in the address. You guys have seen this address before. 2720 North Sterling. This is a property I will bring up hundreds of times. And the reason being is because it checks the box of a lot of questions people ask, like, where did the deal come from? Q1 sale clause, subject to, paperwork, what happens when this happens? Have you ever done a deal with an agent? How do you turn a property into an Airbnb? So many of those check boxes and questions that continually come up are answered by this particular property. So let's open it up. Okay, so this property purchased on 11/26/2019, so about 7 months ago, roughly. Today is in April, so 29 months ago, nearly 30 months ago, we bought this property. So we bought it in 2019. I bought it for $372,788. Now, the reason why that dollar amount is so specific is because I bought this property subject to. The property was underwater. The seller did not have any equity. And now, quick lesson on equity. When people think equity, they think, well, you know, if my house is worth $300,000 on Zillow and I owe $200,000 on my mortgage, people think that the difference between those two numbers is their equity. That is not equity. This is called spread. There's a spread between what your house is worth and what you owe, but equity is technically what you have in your pocket when the house is all sold, commissions are paid, etc. In this scenario, $300,000 house, you're going to basically pay in the United States, you're basically at about 8% in cost to sell a property, anywhere between 8 to 11%. People think it's only 6%. That's because they've never flipped a house before. Once you flip a house, you understand that it costs way more money than just your real estate agents to sell your house. Closing costs, benzers, which are repair items. A lot of times your buyers are asking for a credit for this, or your buyer will say, I need money to help my interest rate make sense, or whatever else. So about 8% is the average. It's going to cost you 8% to sell a $300,000 home. That means you've got $24,000 in costs associated with that. That means you actually walk away with $276,000 on a $300,000 house. So technically you would have $76,000 of equity, not $100,000 of equity. And that's something that a lot of people just really don't even understand. Okay. So this situation with this seller is he owed $372,788, which is why my purchase price was exactly that dollar amount. It's because I bought it subject to, right? So I bought the house subject to, meaning I took over the existing mortgage. If you guys don't know what subject to is, I would go watch it in another one of my videos. I have a playlist called Subject To. Go in there, understand that a little bit more, but it's me taking over the deed and making payments towards their mortgage that stays in their name. Okay. So this seller had their property listed for basically $399. And so you would assume, well, if the house is worth $399 and somebody comes along and buys it at $399, well, that's fine. He owes $372,788. That's a $27,000 spread. Well, the problem is I sell my property for $399 and it costs me 8% roughly to sell a property. That's average depending on your agent and where you're at. I'm essentially going to spend about $32,000 in costs to sell that property. So in order for this seller to have sold the property at the time on the real estate market, he would have had to cut a check out of pocket in order to sell this house. So it didn't make sense for him. And after months and months and months of trying to sell this house through a real estate agent, his real estate agent found me and I said, hey, I can buy this house subject to, but I am not going to pay your full real estate commissions. And so that's what I did. I told the agent I would pay them $2,500 referral fee. Okay, a referral fee. So if you're an agent out there and you run into situations where your seller doesn't have equity, bring them to me. I'll buy their house subject to, and I'll take the house off your hands. I'll pay you a referral fee, not your full commission. I will not pay your full commission because I was the only person that had your solution. Now, if you have a seller who wants too much money and they have the house paid off free and clear, I'll buy that house seller finance and I'll still pay your commission on that one. Okay, so I paid $2,500 for the referral fee and I paid $2,500 roughly for the closing costs. Okay, so I was into this property roughly $5,000 to take over an existing mortgage. And the mortgage is a Wells Fargo mortgage. Hey, Wells Fargo, you should definitely call the due on sale clause on me because I bought this property subject to, and as of today, Wells Fargo, I have been paying a $1,900 mortgage payment of somebody else's. The seller, Dave, who sold the property to me on 11/26/2019, so 2.5 years ago, I've been making 2.5 years worth of payments of $1,900 to you, Wells Fargo. So call the due on sale clause on me and take this house back. It's not going to happen, guys. People talk about the due on sale clause. It's very, very funny. I could make a YouTube video about Wells Fargo. Even if you work at Wells Fargo right now and you are like, how do I get Wells Fargo to call the due on sale clause on Pace? Good luck trying to do that. That ain't going to happen. It's just not how it works. They're not going to call the due on sale clause, guys. It just rarely happens. So I'm into the property, $5,000, $2,500 to the agent, $2,500 in closing costs because I did go through a title company to buy this property. And my $1,900 payment included PITI. So that's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance were all included in that $1,900. And my thought was, hey, this would be a really great Airbnb. I think I could rent this thing out Airbnb for about $6,000, and it's livable right now. I don't have to do any renovations. I don't have to spend any money on this thing. Literally, these people move out. I put some furniture in this thing. I'm cash flowing pretty good. Let's say I've got a $6,000 income. I've got management. I've got the payment. I've got landscaping. I've got cleaning. I got all these fees. I was planning on netting about $2,000 a month in my pocket cash flow on this property, buying it subject to. That was my plan. Now, what ended up happening on this particular property is that my wife, she came to the property when I bought the house subject to from the seller, and she helped me out with the paperwork. At the time when we bought this house 2.5 years ago, my wife was my transaction coordinator, and my wife and I went to the house and she goes, I love this house. Why don't we move into this house? And we literally bought this house for $372, $788. Okay, great. Well, here's what I like about this property. If you're brand new, like you're literally brand new, you don't have $5,000, because most of you guys watching my channel are wholesalers, and no offense to you, some of you guys are broke asses, right? And that's fine. I'm not making fun of you. I'm not teasing you. There were times in my career that I was a broke ass as well. But the one thing I was really broke with is I didn't have enough knowledge. I was broke in the brain. I didn't have enough knowledge that me not having money was not holding me back. That is not what was holding me back. And so what I did at the time, I wasn't an educator. I wasn't a coach. I wasn't like a guru or anything like that. I was teaching a lot of people for free. And so somebody was like, well, Pace, I know you have money to buy that property, but how would somebody like me buy that property and turn it into an Airbnb? I go, well, watch me. I'll show you how to do it. So I actually went to a girl named Sonya. I said, hey, Sonya, I need $30,000 as a loan against this property. And Sonya, I think it's in here. Oh, look, check this out. You guys can actually see this right here. They listed it for $399. They dropped it to $395, dropped it to $390, dropped it to $389.9, dropped it to $385. You guys want to find subject to deals? I'm telling you right now. How do I find subject to deals? Go to expired listings or go to listings that have been on the market for several months. This was a listing that was on the market for several months. Right here shows me with public data that this property had been on the market for multiple months, reducing price, reducing price, reducing price, showing you they have pain. Hey, we have pain, we have pain, we have pain. Something bad's going on. Alert, 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 alert. Bought the house subject to. Really, really cool. They then removed the listing when they finally had it at $385. Why did they remove the listing? Well, because they called me and Pace solved the problem. So what I did is I showed people that with Sonya's money, this $30,000, I could actually pay the $5,000. So let's subtract that $5,000. That's $2,500 to the agent, $2,500 closing costs. Then I could do a small renovation of $15,000, furniture, paint, clean the place up, maybe change some light fixtures, etc. I would be all into it $20,000, and then I could even pay myself. So listen to this. If you're a wholesaler, pay attention to me. You couldn't have gotten this deal done first and foremost because this person owed way too much money on the property than you could afford to pay as a wholesaler, okay? Unless you're wholesaling subject to and seller finance deals, which really only my students know how to do. So I could have locked this deal up, this contract, and I could have assigned it to somebody. Yes, you can assign subject to deals, but most wholesalers that are wholesaling would look at this and go, they don't have equity. I don't have any money that I can make. As a wholesaler, I would have looked at this deal and said, I wouldn't have any money that I could make on this deal. I was completely wrong. What I did is I structured a deal where I paid myself $10,000 up front. So I didn't have to pay for the referral to the agent. I didn't have to pay the closing costs. I didn't have to pay for the paint, the carpet, the furniture for the Airbnb. And I actually put $10,000 in my pocket. Now, what I did to Sonya for that money is I paid Sonya, her percentage was 10% interest. So I was paying her roughly $250 per month for me to hold that money. Now, this is a great question of how do I pay my lenders back? Now, my wife and I ended up moving in this house. We lived in this property for roughly a year before we moved out. We loved it. It was a great house, but we outgrew it really, really fast. And so what I did is I put this property back on the market, Airbnb, when I moved into the house I'm currently in right now. You guys want to see how I bought this house, go to Jerry Norton's channel, type in Jerry Norton, Pace Morby. You'll see exactly how I bought the house I'm currently in right now. Guys, I went from a $372,000 house to a $3 million house because I use creative finance, right? I can bounce around to houses. It's pretty spectacular. Now, how did I pay Sonya back, right? Obviously, I was into the deal, no money out of my pocket. I borrowed 30 grand from a private money lender. Sonya was just another real estate investor that I'd met at a real estate meetup, and she's a sweetheart. She's awesome. I love her. I see her probably every couple of months, but I paid her back. Even though I was paying her $250 a month and just interest only, this is interest only, I still owed her 30 grand. So how did I pay her back? Well, I want you to understand that what I did is I ended up moving out of the property, putting it on Airbnb, which is on Airbnb right now. And this Airbnb nets me about $4,500 a month, okay? My original calculation on this property was wrong. I was significantly undervaluing my property on Airbnb. This property brings in roughly $8,000 a month in income, and I net somewhere around $4,000 to $4,500. So if you borrow money from a lender on a deal like this, really all you have to do is you have to collect that $4,500, right? What's $30,000 divided by 4,500? Eric's in here, guys.
6.6666666.
Okay, so the reason why it's 6.66 months, because that's hot. It only took me 6.66 months to pay my lender Sonya off from my Airbnb income. And here's what's great about this property. Not only has this property gone up from 372 to 653, right? 372,000 to 653. What's that? Let's pull your calculator out right now. 653 subtract 372. In 30 months, I've made $281,000 in appreciation. In 30 months, so that's number one, appreciation. Number two, what's my cash flow I've made on this property? Well, I've been cash flowing roughly $4,500. Let's do some more math, Eric. You ready for this? We should get a camera on your face, you know what I'm saying? Because you're in the studio with me. So what do we got? We got 4,500 times 30, okay? So that's 120. Okay, $135,000. Subtract $30,000. 105. Okay, so my cash flow on this property, oh shit, I lived in it. I lived in it for a year. Let's change that. So let's go, I've Airbnb'd it 18 months. So 18 times 4,500, subtract 30 grand.
$81,000.
Okay, $81,000, subtract the 30 that I owed Sonya. Okay, so that brings how much money? 51,000? Okay, so I also made $51,000 in cash flow, money that came in my pocket. That's after I paid Sonya with my cash flow. That's pretty dope. Now, what else did I get? I got mortgage pay down. Okay, so based on where Dave, the seller's loan, was at in the cycle, I've been paying down pretty good amount of principal. So the principal that I pay down every month on this is about $700 a month. I make a $1,900 payment and I get $700 taken down on the mortgage. $1,200 is interest only. So what's 700 times 30? Let's do that. 700 times 30 should be 21,000. All right, so I paid down the mortgage down $21,000. That's pretty cool. Majority of that was paid down by my Airbnb guests. Then I also got depreciation. Okay, so my tax benefits of this property are, let's do some more math, Eric. One more time, last one. 372 divided by 27.5.
13.52.
Okay, 13.52. So what that means, guys, is I'm going to ask you to do one more thing. 13.52. So $13,520. That is what the IRS gives me in a benefit or a tax benefit every single year on this property for 27 and a half years. If you have not watched tax benefits of real estate videos, make sure you go type in Pace Morby depreciation in YouTube and you guys will find pretty good videos all about that. Multiply that number by 7. 94.61. So I got $95,000 in my first year because I elected to take 7 years of my depreciation upfront. It's called accelerated depreciation. I got a $94,000 tax break in my first year of owning this property. So for no money out of my pocket, saving a realtor that could not get the deal done, helping a seller out. This seller, Dave, actually helped me design this logo because he loved Subject To so much. He's an amazing guy. We love Dave. Shout out, Dave. You're amazing. So we've made a lot of money on this property. $281 in appreciation, $51,000 in cash flow. So I'm like $330. Pay down $21, $350, and then tax benefit of another $94,000. So guys, this property is a great shining example of how you can buy property with no money out of your pocket. Truly, I didn't use my credit. I didn't use credentials. I didn't use any job history, bank history. I didn't have to show my 1099 or my W-9. I didn't have to show tax returns, my bank history. I didn't have to pull my credit one single time. I have deed of this property. If you guys pull up this property right now on county record, my company, let's see, assessor, Maricopa County Assessor's Office. Okay. So if we go here, we go to Maricopa County Assessor's Office and we type in this address, you're going to see who the owner of this property is. 2720 North Sterling Mesa. So as you guys can see right here, Saguaro Cactus Holdings, one of my LLCs, and Sterling, boom, I own this property in Las Sendas. I'm the owner. Even though my name is not on the mortgage, my name is on the deed, so I control the asset. It's my house. Nobody can do anything about it. If Wells Fargo wants to try and call the due on sale clause, they could definitely try and do that, but we have ways around that as well. Type in paste Morby due on sale clause and you'll see some really great semi-service videos about that. So whatever questions you guys have, please let me know. I know this was a kind of a funny breakdown. This is our first time in this downstairs studio and we're obviously trying to clean this up. In fact, check this out, guys. I got Jamil's shoes over here, some Air Force One Supremes. These are dope. I got a whole bunch of Nintendo Switch controllers. Like, this is not obviously a setup studio. We're going to keep bringing a better studio to you over and over and over, keep getting better and better. But in the meantime, please leave a comment down below. I want to know what questions you have so we can follow up and maybe do a Q&A, like a part 2 of this video, something like that. That would be cool. Ask your questions down below. We'll come back, answer those into another video, bust out the whiteboard, satisfy all of your curiosities about this specific deal. Yes, I still own the property. I will never sell this property. I'll just keep cash flowing. Why would I sell a property that cash flows so heavily, right? A couple of the things. I would make sure that you like, you subscribe, give us a comment down below. Obviously, that helps out the channel. You hear every YouTuber saying that shit, so please help us out. We appreciate it. I would also go down below if you guys are trying to get started in real estate. We have multiple ways that you guys can get started in real estate. Click the links down in the comment section down below. And we've got driving for deals challenges. We did this driving for deals challenge one time, guys, where we helped 500 people get 500 deals in 26 days. Those set of recordings is down in the description below. So go ahead and go click on those. Hopefully that will help you guys get some momentum of finding deals just like this. And we'll see you in the next video.